When you're finishing down maple syrup on the stove, you want to get to the temperature of 219. Now we're using a candy thermometer here. One good way to tell when the syrup is approaching the right temperature is watch the bubbles. When you start getting those nice big bubbles like that, you're getting pretty close. Now when it's almost to the 219, you'll start to see a lot of foaming coming up. The burner's cycling on the stove here, so she's coming up 217.5 on the thermometer. But when it's just a rolling boil, like you can see this pot back here, the steam's getting us. And you can see this pot back here, it's just a rolling boil. That one's not close. That one's probably only about 215 right yet. But when you see this foaming bubbles coming up on it here, there we just went to 218. You see these foaming bubbles, and it's the big breaking bubbles on the surface of your syrup. That's when you know you're getting pretty close. Now you have to watch it at this point, because this will foam up and boil over just in no time, and then you've got a sticky mess on your stove. Gonna watch that real close. Bouncing between 217.5 and 219. 218. 219 right there. We want it to hold a solid 219. You don't want to take it off just as soon as it hits 219 like it just did there. You want to make sure that it's holding 219 and even bouncing to 220 before you take it off, and that way you're sure that you've got your temperature. We're at 219 right there, 218.5, 218. 17.5, but you can see the foam coming up on it now. The burner has cycled off there on the stove again. When that comes back up, it's going to hit 219 and we'll be ready for bottling. So this syrup has been filtered again after it came down from the evaporator up in the greenhouse. It was filtered, and once it's at 219, holding steady here, it's going to filter again before it goes bottled. Holding at 218. Foam's getting up there a bit, so when it starts to foam up over halfway the pot, we just raise the pot up a little bit to reduce the heat onto it, because like I say, you don't want that mess over the stove. Holding steady on 218, 218.5. This is the critical point. You've got to get it to a solid 219 or your syrup will be too runny. I've seen people try bottling at like 212, 215, and really all you're getting is nice colored water with a little bit of maple flavor to it. You got to get it to the 219. And when you're starting to boil down, a good thing to do, because the air pressure varies from day to day, a good thing to do is to take a pan of water and calibrate your thermometer. So you want to know what temperature the water boils at, and then your sap or your syrup is going to be taken off at 7 degrees above the boiling temperature of water. So you calibrate your thermometer at the start of the process when you're getting ready to start finishing down, and then you know if you have to go past the 219 to say a 220. You don't want to go much past 220, because then you're going to get sugar in the bottom of your bottles. It'll crystallize. We're hitting 219 quite frequently there right now. I don't know if you can see the numbers good because of the steam. Can't get the camera in there close because the lens fogs up.
You have to be careful when it foams up too, because it gets thin on the bottom.
Yeah, when it's foaming up like that, you don't want to lose volume on the bottom of your pan, because your pan can scorch quite fast. Holding steady on 219 now. Just dropped to 218.5.
It's getting thinner.
Yeah.
And I'm raising it too.
Yeah, coming up out of the syrup into the foam there with the thermometer right now. 218.5, 219, 219.5. We're there. As long as it'll hold, there's 220.
220.
Okay. So, next step, we put it through another. This is one of the bottom filters, plus there's a double layer of cotton underneath that, or flannel rather, not cotton. We're just making sure that there's no sugar, sand, or niter left in the finished product. Takes a little while for that to run through, even though it's hot. But we like to get it right into the bottles as soon as possible while it's still at that temperature, holding around 219. That way the bottles seal well and you don't get any mold or any problems down the road with your finished product. So what we're going to do here is just roll that back. It's going to continue filtering down through the filters, but we're going to start the bottling. When you're doing this, make sure that you don't splash it on your hands because it's sticky, it stays where it splashes, and it will burn. Got some real good color shown in this. The syrup this year is, it's a really light color syrup. It's been right from the start. We're really happy with the product this year. So we bring it up in the neck of the bottle so that there's not much airspace left. I like to get it right up there, and that way there's very little chance of it not being fully sterilized, and get a cap on there nice and tight immediately.
There's the seal.
And there she's sealed up. Nice amber colored product. So that's how we do it.